Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Friday, May 30th. Happy Friday, everybody. Changing up the strategy a little bit for today's Dong Report. So I'm casting a wider net, just playing them for a lower unit size. So traditionally, I've been giving out 3 to 4 plays for a quarter unit each. Today, what I'm doing is I have 9 guys on the Dong watch list for today, and I'm only putting 0.1 units on all of them. So we're risking like 0.9 units total. We're going to talk about that. Before we do, let's talk about yesterday. Not our day. Did not get any of our guys to hit a home run. Isak Paredes did not hit a home run. Cal Raleigh also did not hit a home run. I don't think any of them even came really close. Now, we did have Christian Walker, who ended up not playing, so we just got our money back with that one. But we're down a little bit over half unit because neither of these two guys hit a home run. One of the leans I gave out did hit a home run. Obviously, that doesn't get tracked one way or another because it's only a lean. But we'll talk about that. On the entire season, still slightly in the red. I was hoping we'd have a good yesterday to get ourselves in the green on the year. That did not happen. Now we're down less than a unit. We're down negative 1% ROI, which is not the worst thing in the world. But we're on a pretty brutal cold streak. So if you've been with me basically since like April 15th and on, you've dealt with a lot of pain. If you were here at the beginning of the season, at least you had some fun rides for that. Based on the odds and all that stuff, if you just put blindly 1 unit on every single one, you'd be up less than 8 units. So even going by that metric, things aren't that great. So I decided to switch things up a little bit today. You know, I've been giving out my 3 to 4 favorite. More often than not, it feels like some leans cash. So instead of deciding between which ones are my favorite, I just decided to cast a wide net and play every single one. So the hope here, based on how the odds work out, if we get at least 3, we're guaranteed to make money. And if we get 2, depending on the 2, based on the odds, we're also guaranteed to make money. So we're going to talk about all that real quick. Before we do, would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Everything I do, the first thing I do is send it out to my Tails account. So if you're interested in getting everything sent to you early, link to that. And then this is Ballpark Pal as well. So let's get into it. So the first 2 plays that I have are both in the Diamondbacks Nats game. And I'm going with Corbin Carroll and I'm going with Ketel Marte. Now, the best price on Corbin Carroll is plus 350 at FanDuel. And the best price on Marte is plus 450 at Bet365. Now, one thing that I really like about Ketel Marte is we're just comparing odds here. Bet365 has it at 450. FanDuel has it at 265. That's a massive gap between Bet365 and FanDuel. Now, you know, all we're doing is just looking at the sports books and where they price odds, but I do like situations where FanDuel is aggressively against the market compared to what everything else it has it priced at. And that's exactly what's happening here with Ketel Marte. And it's the same thing who I'm not taking with Suarez. So if you wanted to really spray the board, take Suarez as well, you could do that. But I'm only rocking with Carroll and Marte. The biggest advantage for both of them is the pitching matchup here against Jake Irvin. Irvin is an absolute dong machine going up against left-handed hitters. Now, in his last 5 starts, it hasn't been terrible against lefties. He's given up 3 home runs, so it's a home run every 28 at-bats. That's not terrible. Admittedly, that is not that bad. But you look at some of the outlier stats, he doesn't strike anybody out, so these batters will make contact. Barrel rate allowed over 10%, hard hit rate over 50%. That's disgusting. That is very, very bad for somebody that doesn't strike anybody out. So the home runs are going to start to come off of Jake Irvin, and this is probably going to end up being like 20 at-bats or fewer in terms of home runs per at-bat. And to go a little bit deeper than that, looking at plate IQ here, we're looking at Jake Irvin on the year. Barrel rate allowed to lefties, 14.6%. That's disgusting. Now, all these stats track things a little bit different, so you're going to see a little bit of different numbers between plate IQ and Fangraphs and Game Day Insights and all that stuff. As long as they're similar, that's all that really matters. There's not a wide gap between them. And over the last 30 days, that barrel rate for Jake Irvin on the lefties, 15.9%. ISO rate allowed, 207 on the year, 200 over the last 30 days. Really, really disgusting stuff. If you look at the pitches that get smoked by lefties, it's his curveball and it's his four-seam fastball, especially the curveball. I mean, batters just tattoo his curveball. Hard hit rate. Let me zoom out a little bit just so you can see. Hard hit rate, 93% against his curveball. And again, he doesn't strike anybody out. I guess his curveball gets more swinging strikes than most. So That's why that hard hit rate is so high. But that is truly a disgusting number. And if you look at Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte, they have the best numbers on the Diamondbacks by far by left-handed hitters against that pitch mix. You look, game day insights here, we're looking at the changeup in the four-seam fastball over the last month. Ketel Marte, 28% barrel rate, 70% hard hit rate, 29% fly ball rate. So that's a little bit low, but he doesn't strike out. Only a 15% strikeout rate. Now, he's been sick for the last couple games, so he didn't play the last 2 games. He should be back. He should be in the lineup tonight. It was a minor sickness. They just kind of gave him 2 days off. Then the Diamondbacks didn't play yesterday, and now he's back tonight. So that he should be fine. If he doesn't play, we just get him refunded, because if he's sick and doesn't play, he's not going to pinch hit. And then Corbin Carroll also has incredible numbers against the pitch. Sorry, that's changeup. I went curveball. Either way, it's still really good for both of them. That's all that matters. Corbin Carroll also has great numbers against the pitch mix, but he strikes out more. So you're a little bit more worried about a strikeout for Corbin Carroll than you are for Ketel Marte, but they both annihilate these 2 pitches. Like if we just go in order, we'll start with the four-seam fastball, because that is generally a dong pitch. ISO rate on the season from righties, Ketel Marte, 591 ISO rate, Corbin Carroll, 578. Incredible numbers. You want to look at the last 30 days, 750 for Ketel Marte. That's incredible. 524 for Corbin Carroll. Top 2 on the Diamondbacks. You want to look at barrel rate. Ketel Marte, number 1, 46%. That's insane. 40% for Corbin Carroll. Less insane because he strikes out a lot. And then you want to look at the curveball. Barrel rate number 1, Gurriel, so good for him. Now, this is a small sample size, so we're going to look at the entire season. Number 1 is Corbin Carroll, 27%. Now, Ketel Marte doesn't have as good numbers against the curveball. Granted, it's a small sample size because he missed a bunch of time with an injury, so no barrels. But a 50% hard hit rate isn't bad, and his ISO rate, not for a lot of power, but the WOBA is good. So he's hitting the ball, just not quite hitting home runs. But look who's number 1. That would be Corbin Carroll. So between the 2 of them, I'm very confident that one of them will hit a home run. And hopefully, because I am playing both of them, 0.1 units each, will have some success. So Corbin Carroll is play number 1. Ketel Marte is play number 2. Next up, we're heading to the Cubs, where I also have 2 plays. Seiya Suzuki, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. We're just going to go with Suzuki is 1, and then Kyle Tucker is the other. Now, this is in the day game, so just keep that in mind. The best offered price on both of these guys for Tucker is $375 at ESPN Bet, and for Suzuki, I believe this is actually $475. Unless that came down. When I locked it in, it was $475 at ESPN Bet. If not, I would still take it at $425. So good to go with both of those numbers. So the thing with Suzuki and Kyle Tucker, the pitcher they're going up against is pretty good. So unlike the 2 guys with the Diamondbacks, we are not targeting a super dong ball type of pitcher or anything like that. Andrew Abbott is generally pretty good. I mean, low ISO rate allowed to both righties and lefties. Now, over the last 30 days, he's been hit a little bit harder by lefties, 13% barrel rate, but on the season, a little bit harder by righties, 10% barrel rate. But either way, this is not a pitcher that is, again, not a dong ball guy. But Suzuki and Tucker are among the hottest hitters in baseball. So what I'm looking at here are a couple different stats to just look at the last 7 days. Who are the hottest hitters in baseball? And right now we're looking at just raw number of hard hits. Seiya Suzuki has 14. That is tied for the second most in the MLB. He's also got 4 barrels in that stretch as well, which is tied for the third most with a bunch of guys. I mean, there are 21 batters that have 4 or more barrels, so that's a big number. But the hard hits is important for Seiya Suzuki. And a lot of his advanced numbers look good as well. Ground ball rate, only 20%. That's super low. His average exit velocity of 99 miles per hour is really, really good. So he's making incredibly strong contact with the baseball. And then the thing with Kyle Tucker is he goes in the category of someone that's been hitting the ball hard, and that is basically due for a home run. He hasn't hit a home run over the last 7 days. But none of his advanced stats are anything that should scare you off. 11 hard hits. So yeah, not quite the same level as Seiya Suzuki, but he's one of 23 batters that has 11 or more hard hits over the last 7 games. So he's averaging more than 1 a game. Now he's only got the 1 barrel, which has kind of been the issue with Tucker. When he hits the ball hard, he hasn't been barreling it up. But you take a step back, fly ball rate, 45%, that's very good. Ground ball rate of only 25%, that's very low. his launch angle of almost 19 degrees, that's very good. And Kyle Tucker has always been good at hitting the ball hard and putting the ball in the air. So just because the last 7 days he hasn't been able to put it in the air, that's not going to be anything that scares me off. And as we can see, most guys with 11 or more hard hits have at least one home run. I think there's only 4 that don't. It's Pasquatch, it's Bryce Terang, Ramon Urias, Tucker, Cam Smith. So there's 5 or 6, but still, majority of them have at least a home run. Tucker's the best hitter on this list without one. So I think that's going to change. And the thing with Andrew Abbott is he throws that four-seam fastball all the time. And it also is the pitch that gets hit the hardest. Now, 43% hard hit rate on a four-seam fastball, in the grand scheme of things, is not that bad, especially for somebody that strikes guys out a lot. But you look at these guys against the four-seam fastball from lefties, Suzuki, 600 ISO rate on the year. Kyle Tucker, 200 is a little bit low, but he's been better recently. 300 over the last 30 days, and then Suzuki, just insane, 667. You look at barrel rate. Let's look at the entire season because it's a small sample size against lefties. But barrel rate. Now, PCA, also good. I didn't want to have 3 guys in this game because Abbott could just pitch a gem and then we're immediately start over 3. And I liked Tucker and Suzuki the most. But Suzuki, 23% barrel rate against four-seamers from lefties. Tucker, 17%. The fly ball rate or the ground ball rate is only 15% for Suzuki. That's incredibly low. And then even 30% for Tucker is also pretty low. Now, Armstrong's incredible. So if you want, again, kind of similar to Suarez, if you just wanted to really spray the board, I would add Suarez on the Diamondbacks and PCA for the Cubs, but I'm just rocking with the official guys that I gave out. So play 3 is Suzuki. Play 4 is Kyle Tucker. 5 more to go. Next up, we're going with Ronald Acuña Jr. Now, he has only been back for, I believe, less than a week at this point. And he has been destroying the baseball. So we see here he's got 11 hard hits and 4 barrels. He's one of the batters that's in the top 25 in both of these categories over the last week. And another stat I meant to show you but forgot is if we're looking at this is per Game Day Insight. Sorry, I meant to mention this earlier. We're looking at hard hit, line drive plus fly balls. So this is looking at a stat of hits that leave the bat with an exit velocity of 95 or more that are considered either a line drive or a fly ball, kind of a dong predictor is what I like to call it, similar to a barrel. Number 2 in the MLB is Suzuki with 11. Only one player has more than him over the last 7 days. And look who's just below him with 9. One of like 7 batters with 9. That would be Kyle Tucker. And again, he's one of 2 guys with no home runs to show for it. So that just goes to show you how good Tucker has been, and Suzuki as well. But looking at Acuña Jr., so again, he's only been back for less than a week, and he's just been absolutely destroying the baseball. Like we look at his game log here, it's been since May 23rd, so actually exactly 7 days, but he hasn't played every day, so it's been 6 games, 11 hard hits, 4 barrels, and his exit velocity, I mean, just insane, 102.4 average. Literally, when the ball leaves his bat, it's an average of over 100 miles an hour. That's incredible. He hit 2, I believe, to the warning track yesterday. Could not quite get one to go out of the ballpark. I should have mentioned the odds on him are plus 350. That is at bet 365. So as my 5th play, plus 350, bet 365. Ronald Acuña Jr. just destroying the baseball. He came back in just his first, I think it was the first pitch, sent a baseball to the moon. Now, the pitcher that they're going up against, Lucas Giolito, it's been a while since he's been in the major leagues. He hasn't been terrible since coming back, and he has admittedly been worse against lefties. Like you look at his ISO rate against lefties, 204, only 119 against righties. Now his WOBA's worse, so really it's the power that's been getting, lefties have been getting him with power more than righties have, and that barrel rate is admittedly much worse against lefties, but honestly, I'm not scared off. I mean, it's Ronald Acuña Jr. who's just been incredible. All his stats, and again, it's a small sample size because he just came back, but 37% barrel rate, 75% hard hit rate. Now, he's striking out a decent amount, 25%, but that's okay because when he makes contact, he obliterates the baseball. So, and then with Giolito, the biggest issue for him is his four-seam fastball, and Acuña hits the heat very well. Again, it's a tiny sample size, but what he's done to four-seam fastballs, 2/3 of the time he hits a home run. 2/3 of the time it's either a fly ball, or sorry, it's a hard hit. I meant to say 2/3 of the time it's a hard hit. 2/3 of the time it's either a foul ball, fly ball, or line drive, and then he barrels it up at a high rate as well. So small sample size, but the guy who's raking, the numbers are always going to be wonky. But considering the fact that he just destroyed 2 baseballs yesterday that somehow did not leave the park, that makes me believe that he's still hot, and that he's just going to keep swinging for the fences, and he's got a good matchup for it. Granted, it's a guy that's better against righties, but still. Ronald Acuña Jr., that's play number 5. Next up, play number 6, and I got 2 guys on the Red Sox that we'll talk about. Rafael Devers and Jarren Duran. Both of them I'm taking to hit a home run. The biggest thing here is this pitcher Holmes is an absolute dong ball guy. Devers is plus 340 at FanDuel, and Duran is plus 560 at FanDuel. So both of the best offered prices here are at FanDuel. Now, the biggest thing, as I mentioned, it's the dong baller that is pitching for the Braves. Grant Holmes, especially to lefties, just been getting destroyed. I mean, you look at his last 30 days, so basically his last 5 starts. 258 ISO rate is disgusting. 62% hard hit rate is disgusting. Now, the ground ball rate is high. That's not what we're looking for. That's really the only issue here. And that barrel rate of 12% is also disgusting. And he doesn't strike anybody out. I mean, his swinging strike percentage, 10%, called strike plus whiff rate, 25%. Those are low. Those are low numbers. And both Duran and Devers have been hitting the baseball very, very hard. Now, if you go back to this sheet I was looking at here, looking at total number of hard hits, guess who's number 2, tied with Suzuki? That would be Jarren Duran. Now, the biggest issue with him is his fly ball rate is always lower than what you would like. 26% fly ball rate, 26% line drive rate. That's lower than what you would like. But he's been destroying the baseball. We go back to hard hit, line drive, plus fly balls. Guess who's one of the batters, like 1 of 7 with 9? That would be Jarren Duran. Hitting the ball incredibly hard. You look at like EV, all those logs are very positive for Jarren Duran. And then Devers is not far behind him. He's got 12. So Duran has 14. Devers is one of 12 batters with 12. One of 12 batters with 12. Similarly, hitting the ball hard. Similarly, having an issue putting the ball in the air. 35 roughly percent fly ball rate is low, especially because that ground ball rate is above 50%. That is not what you're looking for. Now, he's hit 2 home runs in this stretch, so he is able to lift the ball a little bit. And the pitching matchup is as juicy as you can possibly ask for. Against lefties, the 4-seam fastball and the curveball are the 2 pitches that get tattooed from Grant Holmes. 87% hard hit rate allowed off of his fastball. Now, the curveball is only 37%, which is low, but the ISO rate allowed, 333, is very, very bad. Now, Devers has been hit or miss against the 4-seam fastball, admittedly, but you look at the last 30 days, barrel rate, Devers above 10%. That's good. Duran is a little bit low at 8%, but we know that he's been hot recently. And then the ISO rate, Devers is a very good number, 297. And then Duran is a little bit low, but again, he's been hotter recently. You look at against the 4-seamer, because that's what they're both going to see. They're both above 200, which is solid. 259 for Devers, 211 for Duran. Now, they never strike out, which is a good sign because they're going to make contact, which that's all you can really ask for. And then from a barrel rate perspective, Devers is a little bit low at 8.7%, but Duran is above the 10% number we're looking for at 11.8%. So not incredible, not as good as those numbers like with Ketel Marte or with the other guy on the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll, that I was showing you, but none of them are incapable of hitting it. And you look at Grant Holmes, just to kind of show you where his home runs come from, like whatever his dong pitches. The 4-seam fastball is the main one, and then that curveball, as I mentioned. And you look at these 2 against over the last month. And 3 home runs for Devers, and then 1 of them for Duran. Now, the Devers one is a longer sample size. The Duran one happened more recent. So you kind of get a little bit of that with both. But they're both hot at the plate. They're both going up against a dong ball pitcher, and that's pretty much all we're looking for. So plays number, 6 and 7. Rafael Devers plus 340 FanDuel. Jarren Duran plus 560 FanDuel. And then our 8th play is Oneil Cruz. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered, I believe it's 370 at FanDuel is the best offered price for Oneil Cruz. Now, his number of hard hits isn't up there with the best guys. He's got 11, so it's tied with Kyle Tucker. But the biggest thing for Cruz, his barrel rate. When he makes contact with the baseball, it is crushed. I mean, what he does to the baseball truly remarkable things. It's like he's mad at it. Average exit velocity is Acuña numbers, 102.1. I mean, you look at the leaders in terms of average exit velocity over the last week. Number one, Acuña. Number two is Oneil Cruz. He's pulling the ball, which is good because at least you don't have to hit the ball as hard if you pull it. And that fly ball rate is low at 30%. But when you hit the ball as hard as you do, just send one fly ball for him is going to go out of the stadium. The stuff he's been doing to the baseball, like you look at his StatCast, 2 hard hits, 1 barrel, 2 hard hits, and then 0. So tough game on the 26th. 1 hard hit, 1 barrel, 2 hard hits, 1 barrel, 4 hard hits, 3 barrels. It's an insane run that he is on. And the pitcher is going up against Nick Pivetta. Had a decent start to the year, but has really struggled recently. Like you look at Nick Pivetta over the last 30 days. It's not been, we're looking at the last 30 days. It's not been great. I mean, 14% barrel rate allowed. ISO rate 189 isn't terrible, but that WOBA of 340 is not good. The ground ball is a low 20%, 30%. So 70% of the time, guys are hitting the ball. That's not a ground ball. Basically, 37% fly ball rate is pretty bad. And his biggest issue is the 4-seam fastball. He throws it over 50% of the time, and batters hit it pretty hard. I mean, 53% hard hit rate. Granted, he does strike out a decent amount, throw a decent amount of strikes with this 4-seamer, but Oneil Cruz, 30% barrel rate over the last 30 days against 4-seam fastballs, 412 ISO rate. Yeah, he strikes out a lot. So Cruz, he's a strikeout guy, and he's a home run guy. I'm okay with both of those categories because at least it means you're swinging for the fences. And we know what Cruz can do when he's hot. Like he had a stretch where he didn't hit a ton of home runs. I mean, he went almost 20 games without a home run, probably more in this stretch. But look at what he did prior to that. Home run in 3 of 4 games. Home run in 3 straight games. Home run, 2 and 7 isn't amazing. And then we look at him recently, starting to come around in the home run department. So he's going on one of those runs again. We want to be a part of that. Again, leading the MLB with 6 barrels, tied with 3 batters that have 6 barrels over the last week. That's incredible. Very, very good stuff. That's our 8th play. And then our last one, our 9th and final one is Yoan Moncada. Yoan Moncada, taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 450 odds at FanDuel. That's the best offered price for him. Now, the biggest thing for Moncada is you want to take, now the Angels have a ton of guys that have been raking over the last month, last 2 weeks. But the biggest thing here is you want to take a lefty. Luis L. Ortiz is pitching for the Guardians. He really gets hit hard by lefties. 3 home runs in those last 5 starts to lefties specifically. Home run per 9 average number of at-bats per home run is less than 20, which is bad. It's about 18. And all these numbers, home run per 9, 1.9, bad. ISO rate, 2.26, bad. Barrel rate, 15%, disgusting. Hard hit rate, 53%, bad. And his strikeout rate below 20% is also not good. So again, we're looking at a guy who's allowing batters to make contact, and still these percentage numbers are terrible. Like you'll see really, really good strikeout pitchers have a high barrel rate and hard hit rate and stuff because batters almost never make contact. That is not the case with Luis L. Ortiz. Just been getting tattooed. And Moncada is kind of hot at the plate. He's not ice cold. He's also not terrible. One thing is he's a switch hitter, but he can only hit right-handed pitching. You look at him, his home runs, 5 against righties, 0 against lefties. Now, he hasn't played the entire season, which is why 5 is a low number, but you look at his ISO rate against righties, 286. That's very, very good. You look at him recently, he's not the hottest batter in the world, but he's not been terrible. 1 hard hit in each of the last 2 games. He had a barrel 2 games ago. I think he hit a home run on this day as well. Yes, 27th, he did hit a home run. Then prior to that, 3 hard hits. Then 0, 2, then 2 games with 0, but then hard hit, barrel. So you see, it's not Oneil Cruz, but he's also not somebody that has been incapable of hitting the baseball. And you go to the pitching matchup here. Again, we already know that Luis L. Ortiz gets annihilated by right-handed pitching. He's a righty, gets annihilated by left-handed hitters. His pitches that get smoked, it's really the worst 3 are the slider, changeup, and the cutter. Now, he throws the fastball the majority of the time, and hitters don't hit that super hard, admittedly. The biggest issue is the slider, slider, changeup, and cutter. So we're going to go to slider, changeup, and cutter. We're going to look at the Angels, and we want the left-handed hitters. just to show you. And Moncada, 15% barrel rate is pretty good. And that's over the last month against those three. You look at his EV logs, especially recently. I mean, 104 off the bat, 105 off the bat, 413-foot home run, 101. Those were his last 3 times a ball left the bat on one of those pitches. And that's even taking out the fastball, because that's not really that gets hit hard by Luis L. Ortiz. And it's only 33% of the time. So that's all we got. I know this one was longer. If I continue to spray the board like this, I promise I won't always go as long as this one. It was the first time. But again, 0.1 units on every single one of these guys. Sia Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Ronald Acuña Jr., Rafael Devers, Jarren Duran, Oneil Cruz, and Yoan Moncada. If we, again, all we need, depending on who, if we get, let's say we get Duran and Moncada, or Duran and Suzuki, or Suzuki and Moncada, one of those, if we get 2 of those 3, and actually include Marte in there as well, we will profit. Or if we get 3 of anybody, it could be the 3 lowest guys. It could be Devers, it could be Corbin Carroll and Ronald Acuña Jr., we would still make money. If we get all 10, it's probably not going to happen. We're going to profit over 3 units, but that's not what we're looking for. We're just looking to make money at this point with how the Dawn Report has gone. If you want to know my favorite 3, it was tough to decide between just 3, which is honestly why I decided to spray the board like I did, but it would be Suzuki, Acuña, Cruz, Carroll is probably close there as well. But that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Check out my Tails account if you want everything sent to you early. Check out Ballpark Pal, link to both of those in the description of the video. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.